So, life is a mystery. I can't begin to explain it, but that's what happened. And then my dad came to me, too. Same thing. 3 days after he died. And he was singing a song to me and playing guitar. So I was a little teenage hippie, and I always sang and played guitar. And he never sang or played any instruments, but he made this wonderful song that said, "I'm on my way, I'm on my way." It was something like that. And he was like, "Whoa, Dad!" And so I was glad I got to see them, but I haven't seen them. They don't come to visit. That's why I wondered if Tom came, because you were really close with Tom. If he's come to see you since then. Anyway, somebody else talk. Take the talking stick.
Well, my dad came to visit, or let's say he invited me to visit him. Like, this was, he died, and I'm not very good with dates and everything. So he had died a while ago, and it wasn't on my mind. I was actually having a meeting at a cafe, and I started not feeling good, and I remember going to the bathroom and thinking like, wow, I'm really not feeling good. And I tried to make it back to the table, and then I guess I passed out. But the next thing I know, I was seeing my dad, and he was just talking very fast, and he told me that he had gotten certain things wrong, that he was wrong about some things, but he said, it's really wonderful. I'm having such a great time, and everything is, I think in his mind he was expecting that he had to, suffer somewhat in hell for whatever his life was like. And this place was not like it. It was all beautiful, and he was having a great time, and he was happier than I had ever known him. And he said, make sure that you tell people that this is really a happy place and how happy I am. And so next thing I know, I'm opening my eyes, and there's an ambulance there and paramedics. And I'm like, my first thought, you come back and you don't come back fully aware right away of this third dimension. And the elderly person that I had a meeting with was like, yeah, she needs to go to the hospital. And I couldn't say no, even though I wanted to, because I knew I was fine. So I'm in the ambulance, and I'm thinking, I have no health insurance, and this is going to cost a fortune.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I need to get out of this ambulance somehow. And so they put me like in the emergency room, and they started doing tests, and the doctor comes in with machines to do tests. And I said, hey, listen, I have no health insurance, and you're not doing any of those tests unless you are paying for them, because I am not. And he was like, well, we have to do the tests. And I said, no, you don't. I just like to go. So I argued with the doctor a little bit, and he insisted, so we made a compromise on, half the tests. And then I said I left, and I promised him that I would go see my doctor, which I didn't have a doctor. So I left, and I got home, and I thought, well, I had to remember this. And I picked up the phone, and I called my dad's wife. She was not my mom. And she picked up the phone, and I just said hello, and she burst into tears, and she said, oh, it's so nice that you called. You were the only person that called me today, and it's such a hard day for me. And I said, yeah, why? And she said, well, today is the day your dad died a year ago. This is the anniversary of his death. And I'm like, oh, is that what it is? Well, I just went to see him, and he wanted me to tell you that he is really happy, and he's having a really good time, and everything is just fun. And so she was really happy, and I told her the whole story, and she, even though that was weird to her, that story, She didn't quite believe it. She was so relieved by it that, ultimately she took it and she decided to be happy about it. And then after that phone call, I sat down in my chair and I had this really rather large bill in my hand from the hospital and the ambulance.
Oh, yeah, it's really astronomical.
And my dad, the ambulance especially, and my dad had always said to us when we were kids, and I went to boarding school and then college, and he said, well, whenever you want to come visit me, I pay the way. And I sat down in my chair and I said, well, I didn't really want to go visit you. I think you made me come visit you, but this trip was really expensive. I'd like you to take care of it. And I just sat in my meditation chair and I just told him, I said, not really cool. I don't want to pay this bill for having come to see you. And within 5 minutes, my phone rang and I answered it, and it was somebody, and I said, oh yeah, I have no insurance. I just got this huge bill because I passed out in some cafe. And she said, oh, no problem at all. You just send it to this foundation and they pay for it. And I just said, well, thanks, Dad, for keeping your promise. And it was all paid for. I didn't have to pay anything. So that was
wow.
My 1 year later visit of to my dad. But I told him, I said I appreciate.
You.
Yeah, but I said I appreciate a little bit gentler. I don't want to, the whole. There's a little bit too much action for me.
Too much
again,
drama.
I told him boundaries. You can come by and just whisper in my ear or so, but it doesn't have to be a big production like that.
Yeah. Let's do a time check here. Uh-oh. TJ, are you muted? Is that you, TJ? Are you muted, or did you mute yourself? Uh-oh. I don't know if I got TJ. I have to check her number. Okay. I'm going to mute this until I find out if it's the right number. Okay, so what else would you like us to know about you, Johanna? What's important for our listeners to know about you?
Yeah, I know. Usually she has call-in people, or so she told me.
Yeah.
Are there any, or?
No, nothing's working today. We barely got on air. We can call this a day. I don't know what happened with Theresa. I think she just dropped off. Yeah, this is not Theresa. Somebody's listening to the show. I can ask them if they have any questions.
Yeah, why don't you?
Okay. Area code 786. Oh, hi, yes, Susan.
Hi, Janet.
Hi, Susan meets Johanna, and Johanna meets Susan.
Hi, Johanna.
So Theresa just dropped. If somebody can text her and see if she can come back on. Maybe she's trying to call back in. But, Susan, have you been listening to the show for a while? I'm sorry, I had walked away from the board. Do you have any comments?
I came in when, I don't know if that was TJ that was talking or somebody else. They were talking about their near-death experience where they had to go into the ambulance. It was going to be a big bill. Johanna, okay. Yeah, that was very intriguing. I do have a few interesting ideas about what heaven really is, but I won't get into that. Just like you're psychic. Have you had a lot of experiences with ET?
A little bit.
Have you run across anybody who says that, or who claims, or who knows that they're going to be going home in their present physical body, present physical lifetime, and not have to die here to go home?
That sounds frightening. Sounds frightening for me. I'd like to leave the body behind personally. No, I don't usually. Yeah, really, my field is. You working mostly with ET?
Yes. In fact, I live up
more about that.
Down here. What?
Tell us more about it.
Well, basically, I'll make it very quick. The experience started when I was like 5 years old. I started getting these past life dreams, like especially around 7 years old, about my past life and how I died being obliterated by a black hole when we came into the Earth's solar system and upper atmosphere. And then I was born here, and then from there they took me up in the ships and told me all about my background and my experiences and my origin and everything. And I was able to remember all my past lives and the reason I came here, and I've been working with them ever since, having experiences. I got white tattoos on me, which are markers from them, not scoop marks or anything, but actual white symbols.
And so were you aware of why you came back?
No, what had happened was in my past life, when I entered into the Earth's solar system and then in the Earth's upper atmosphere, our ship was obliterated by a black hole. And then that, of course, everybody died, right? And that was in my immediate past life. And then I was born here.
Yeah, but you said you were aware of your purpose of being here.
Yeah, eventually. Well, I more or less knew that I had to work on the universe, dimensional systems in its next stage of development, which I did. We finished it. And then we had to stabilize other systems. We had to rescue other planets that were being conquered by negative ET forces. And then basically stuff like that, and do a lot of geomancy and a lot of central Earth planetary energy work up there in the ships and stuff. And they said they had to make the best of it because I didn't have a body up there in suspended animation, so they had to incarnate me into a suitable fetus that would have the biomatrix that would match the soul matrix. And so that's what they did. And what it did was it accelerated my ascension quicker. Instead of me going through 5 or 6 stages of to reach the golden light state of being, within a lifetime, I had to do it very quickly. Within like my first few years of life, which is like teens and early 20s. And then after that, in my 30s and 40s, I did a lot of scout missions, always remembering them as a form of a dream. I guess most experiencers do, where I woke a lot of people to their true identity and reconnected them to their star families. And then, as a result, this New Age and Ascension movement and disclosures is a result of those people that are awake and working with their own kind. Mostly ET human hybrids and ET human incarnates. Anyway, star seeds. Anyways, then we also did a lot of reconnaissance in like Area 51 and stuff. It's very detailed. That's basically my story. I guess some people said I'm psychic. I don't know if I really am or not, but I try to use logic and reasoning, and I'm usually able to figure out something. And I usually end up being right. And everybody will argue with me, and I'll end up being right. And I go, haha, I told you so. I was, as far as my professional background down here, I have a degree in physics, a degree in electronics, a degree in mechanical maintenance, certification in OSHA and HAZWOPER, and I have a DOE Core Level 1 certification. I worked in the nuclear industry from 1981 to 2008, and I went to the internship for FP&L from 2009 to 2011. And it was when I made straight A's, the dean's list and everything. It was when I didn't get hired back on at FT&M that I was spinning. And I decided, well, I must be, I could have worked more than I did. And I think it's because of my connection up there that I'm not working as much as I should. On top of the fact that we're women, and I guess as women, we're supposed to perform in order to get certain positions instead of the positions being based on our credibility and our merit and our accomplishments. It's based on something else, which is pretty pathetic, even to this day. I guess the basic question, if I was going to have a psychic question, would be, is there any others on this planet from my people on the planet's surface.